Justin Herbert's strength is his vertical passing game. He can really put the ball out deep, and that's where Mike Williams' strength is.
Here comes the blitz. Throw outside the numbers. Caught. Left sideline. 25-20. Mike Williams hurdles into the end zone. Touchdown. Chargers win.
Mike Williams' fantasy football career has been an emotional roller coaster for anyone who has rostered him, at times showing glimpses of the wide receiver drafted 7th overall by the Chargers in 2017. After the first 5 weeks in 2021, it looked like he was finally maxing his full potential.
If you look at his first 5 games of the year, 2021, it was like 22 points, 22 points, 36 points, a 2, and another 33. And then it's like, okay, hey, we figured out we can use him in this intermediate range and just crush teams.
After compiling 6 touchdowns the first 5 weeks, however, the former Clemson standout would only muster 3 touchdowns the remaining 13 weeks. Despite finishing in the top 12 for wide receivers in 2021, most would say he limped to the finish line.
I'm still mad at the Los Angeles Chargers coaching staff. You finally unlocked Mike Williams to be this the first round pick that you made him, and then it's like, okay, well, we hit the bye week. Hey, you're just gonna run wind sprints again. His end of year stats were amazing, but so much of his fantasy profile really was, buoyed by those first five weeks.
Ultimately, when it comes to Williams as a fantasy football asset, it's hard to overlook the athleticism he brings out wide for the Chargers in that offense with Herbert.
Mike Williams stretching defense, out jumping defensive backs, out muscling defensive backs.
He showed how dynamic he was and just how good he can be. I just want them to use him like he obviously can be used.
Makes it look like it's just a little slant. Nope, foot in the ground.
Very physical at the top of his routes. You see right there, you see the right hand, you see his left hand. Try to watch how strong Stefon Diggs here against Jackrabbit Jenkins.
Some guys who are fast, there are some guys who are quick, but Stefon Diggs has the gift of suddenness.
After finishing 7th in the Fantasy 50 last season, one could say Diggs' finish at number 49 this season would be a significant drop-off. Truth be told, Diggs was still that dude, finishing his 2021 campaign with the 5th most targets, 2nd most air yards, 2nd most red zone targets, and top 10 in reception, receiving yards, touchdowns, fantasy points per game, and expected fantasy points per game.
I think he's a product of expectations. I mean, he still had an amazing season. People think, oh, he had a down season. He wasn't what he was last year. If you would have had this year last year, everyone would have been super excited. But the fact that he followed it up with this quote-unquote down season, I mean, he had a career-high 10 touchdowns. That's pretty good last I checked, over 1,200 yards. I think he only had 2 games, at least in PPR leagues, only 2 games where he only gave his single-digit fantasy points. And in both those games, I think he gave me 9, so it wasn't like he was like a 0.
Diggs' consistency has been a hallmark of his already stellar fantasy football production. Over the last 5 years, Diggs has been a wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2, including 3 out of the last 4 years in the top 10. Now, there may be questions on whether or not the former Viking can continue to hold on to that top spot as others around him in that offense continue to improve. It's an inquiry that has a very easy answer to some.
When the chips are against you, you know who you're going to throw the football to. An elite level talent that can separate and win a contested catch throw, that alpha wide receiver that you can rely on and count on to be where you want him to be.
I think Stefon Diggs, as far as his expectations go, I think if you're looking for that receiver, like 6 or 7 overall is where you're looking for him at.
Make that throw is so close. Touchdown Buffalo! Remarkable play.
You could stop Brady, you could stop Chris Godwin, you could stop Mike Evans every once in a while, but how are you going to stop Gronk? I mean, you're gonna have to like break his legs off to stop him.
Gronkowski over 100 yards, has reached an incentive for yardage. He's now 1 catch away from another $500,000 incentive on receptions. What do you want to bet he's getting it coming up?
Bill Belichick knew from the start that getting whoever was at quarterback, a big tight end like that was really important, because he was actually a fan when he was on the Giants of Mark Bavaro. There were clips of this guy carrying like 49ers defenders on his back. It was insane.
Many have tried to stop Rob Gronkowski during his 11-year Hall of Fame career. Most have failed. The newly retired tight end redefined the position not only on the field, but in fantasy football as well. In the 9 years Gronk played 11 games or more, he finished in the top 6 for tight ends in scoring 7 times. Last year was no different. In just 12 games, he finished 6th in fantasy scoring and averaged 14.3 fantasy points per game.
This is a cheat code. Like, you can know that Gronk is coming and you can't stop it. Like, I'm a Steelers fan, so I know Gronk just goes down the middle. You could have 3 guys on him. He's still just going to catch it and bring it in.
In Week 18 of 2021, with $1 million on the line, Tom Brady and Gronkowski showed once again why the duo is absolutely money.
Go, I need one more. Yeah.
I think that connection is something that, as much as it can be schemed up, it doesn't matter who's calling the plays. If Gronk is, running this route, Brady knows exactly to the foot where he's going to be and where to throw the ball, and they have a very special connection.
What a man.
Thank you, Rob.
All he wants to do is play in January, February. That's all. That's all he does. That's all he does.
I know, man. I've been around too long. I need excitement. January, February football.
Always get lost.
When you watch him play, he plays like a big wide receiver. He doesn't play like your standard tight end.
Heading into the 2021 season, no rookie had more excitement surrounding them than Kyle Pitts. At 6'6" with a 4.4 40, the Florida standout was gaining comparisons from everyone. His size and speed akin to Darren Waller, his ability to create mismatches similar to Calvin Johnson and Tyreek Hill. By season's end, Pitts was top 5 in targets, 2nd in air yards and ADOT, 3rd in receiving yards, averaging 10.4 fantasy points per game. Not bad for a rookie that was only able to haul in 1 touchdown.
I look back at 2021 and circle the touchdowns to me as an outlier. I think that is just natural regression will come back, and even if he sees 5 touchdowns, right? That stat line looks totally different. Everyone's totally about his season.
Especially considering the situation with the Falcons last year. Like, he did great. He was the clear number 1, and it kind of blew my mind. I think he can take what he did last year and definitely improve upon it this year.
The skills are there, but it's a little extra that will grow expectations even higher in season 2.
Honestly, his size, like, he's a big guy. He is 6'6". It's enormous. 13th highest for yards after catch in the NFL, highest tight end. Like, that's pretty cool. I think, he's got all the skills.
Kyle Pitts has a little finesse, which is kind of fun, and so he has a little swagger to his game as a tight end that you don't always see. He's got great hands. He's got that high catch point, that big catch radius, all those things that you like out of a wide receiver. He's just playing the tight end position.
Tremendous throw, tremendous concentration on the catch.
When this guy runs, you see defenses scared to tackle him.
Chubb over the 50, Chubb to the 45, Chubb to the 40, down the sideline 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, there he goes, touchdown!
He's one of the top 3 or 4 power backs.
Since entering the league in 2018, Nick Chubb has been a fantasy football starter. Outside of his rookie year, Chubb has not finished out of the top 10 in standard leagues. In 2021, Chubb finished 2nd in rushing yards and top 6 in true yards per carry, yards per touch, breakaway run rate, breakaway run, yards created, and yards created per touch, averaging 15.4 fantasy points per game. Which begs the question, despite the lack of a receiving role, why are you still sleeping on Chubb?
One of the rare pure runners. Forget about how many attempts he has per game. He's still averaging above 5 yards per carry.
There's some guys that are high maintenance, some guys that are low maintenance. Chubb is no maintenance.
No maintenance.
No maintenance.
Oh, that's good to hear.
The hesitancy to take Chubb may come from the lack of receiving work or sharing carries with Kareem Hunt. But in a league where bell cow backs are few and far between, it's hard to imagine getting better production than the lead back in Cleveland.
If it's a PPR league, I throw him down a little bit. I don't believe he's ever gotten over 35 catches, 40 catches in a season. He's not that kind of player. But if you're looking at just yards, if you're looking at just touchdowns, just kind of that boring production of just constant yardage, 9 points a game just in yards, I just do love the touchdown potential. I mean, 8 touchdowns to open up his career. So this is a guy who can get to the end zone. Chubb's got to be your guy up on the top of your list.